Hello everyone, my name is Marloes Wichink Kruit. I'm the Human Capital Manager at InnoEnergy, and today I'm going to present you our look on finding a career in the energy sector in Europe. First of all, I would like to tell you a bit about InnoEnergy, who we are. And InnoEnergy is Europe's engine for innovation in sustainable energy. And what we do is we empower innovation and entrepreneurship. We have three business lines. It's one of them is education, the other one is business creation, and we are innovation projects. And within education, we have our master school. And we work together with 12 universities, top engineering universities in Europe. And we also have the PhD school, which you could apply for if you have found your PhD in energy. So we are established in 2010, and we are supported by the EIT, the European Institute of Technology. So we are public-private partnership, and we are aiming for financial sustainability. Our unique point is actually that we are a very big network. So we are based in currently in 6 co-locations where we have our offices, and from there we work with partners, shareholders in the energy sector in order to try to reach the energy transition together. We have activities in totally in 17 countries. And exactly this connection makes our company unique. And also for our students in the master school, it's a unique opportunity to make use of this challenge and of this network, of course, because we see the so-called knowledge triangle, in which we combine our business creation startups and the innovation projects and our students and alumni, all together working together at energy challenges as our biggest advantage. And here you can see that we have all of Europe partnerships. We work together with the most interesting universities, research centers, and so we are really connected, and we are a truly global, truly European company, but we want to reach out globally. Just to going the wrong way. Just to show a bit of our startups and the companies we are working with and which are part of our network. Here you see a couple of logos and names of startups that has started within the InnoEnergy network the last 8 to 9 years, and we are growing. So in totally we support around 167 startups which are related to the energy transition. About the master school, InnoEnergy Master School is consisting of 7 master programs, and what makes us unique is that we are not just educating engineers, but we deliver a bit more, because our engineers will be educated to become the game changers in the energy sector. And today we're going to talk about finding a career in the energy sector. So as our master students are part of our big network, this is a tremendously interesting step towards a career in the energy sector. And how are we currently doing that? So by entering our master school, you will be part of our community. And the community is just not a student society, but it's bigger. It's actually our biggest network, and it involves also all our partners and entrepreneurs which are related to the network. We are already for 9 years following our students and also, of course, our alumni and where they are currently working. And we see that this strong community and a strong network of people knowing each other and still meeting each other after they have graduated from our master school, just to keep up with their knowledge and also make use of each other's network. And they also come back to InnoEnergy with potentially interesting internships, with potentially interesting entry-level positions. And actually, this is the way we have managed to structurize our career network. So we see that our alumni are currently working all over Europe, and not only in Europe, also actually in other parts of the world, like America, Asia, etc. And to give you an idea, like what kind of companies they have landed their careers, this is an overview of the companies where a lot of our students and alumni are working. So it's, for example, ABB, Siemens, Schneider Electric, Bosch, but also the big utilities which are well known in Europe: EDF, Energy, EDP, E.ON, ENGIE, Enel, Vattenfall. So it's very, very broad. We also see that we have many contacts within the consultancy sector. Our alumni really like to work for them, and obviously they again work for the energy's clients in Europe as well. So that's where the network is also closing. Also, if you like to do a PhD, this also helps when you're into connections with research centers and in universities. So how do we prepare our students to land in such a career? And our students, we teach our students not to wait until they finish their studies. So our vision is that once you enter the master school or the PhD school, your career starts immediately. So meaning you're not doing like 2 years master program and then think, okay, what's next? Let's find a career in energy and let's see what I like, what kind of companies there are. We think it's very important to immediately start to create on your vision on what your career should look like. And that's why we have developed a special program for our students. In my position as human capital manager, one of the things I'm responsible for is the InnoEnergy Career Centre. And the InnoEnergy Career Centre is supporting you to get a job in the energy sector. How are we doing that? Most importantly, we have, as I said already, through our network, we have a job board with very interesting internships, jobs, part-time jobs, thesis projects, etc. So when you're still a student, of course, it's really good to find or to get relevant experiences, to know what you like, to know what you're good at, also to know what you do not like, in order to make a good decision at the end of your master program. So at the job board of InnoEnergy Career Centre, you find interesting internships all over Europe, and also, of course, we have part-time jobs for just 1 day a week, thesis projects, and all kind of other career opportunities. These are jobs and opportunities directly from our network. So we know these people, and they know InnoEnergy as well. And we see that this works very good. Then at the Career Centre, we have also developed the Game Changing Impact program. So it's program and about career. We actually use the GC Index for that, and we have for today Nathan Ott at this webinar. He's from the GC Index, and he will present this whole program in detail after I finish my short presentation, and he can tell you everything about it. And it's actually our key offering for our students, and it should really prepare our students for creating an impact into organizations immediately after they finish their studies. So as I said, this is really part of the program which we think it's important students should start with as soon as they start with their master's program. And we also organize the Game Changing Impact Challenges, and this is actually our yearly career event. And we do not do that by ourselves or just simply having a career fair at one of our universities, but we cooperate with the European Utility Week, which is one of the biggest events in energy in Europe. And it also has from every European country, a lot of organizations who are presenting themselves over there and joining activities or joining the seminar series, etc. And we offer our students to be part of this 3-day event. And during this 3-day event, we have a special career event for our students. And they can network and they can meet and collaborate with the industry and with our contacts. We arrange mentors for doing challenges together with our students and graduates, by the way. And so this is a unique opportunity to be part of the European network in energy. And it's not only about providing you directly a job, but it's already starting to work on your career. So your network will be really important for the rest of your career. And you will, and this is actually what we believe. Like, hey, this is where you start already working on that, and you will benefit from it. Not only by finding your first job, but for the rest of your career. But in order to get that job or to get that internship, the InnoEnergy Career Centre is also offering job interview training, video assessment training. We help you with your CV, and we have personal advice for you if you're in need of that. Actually, if you say like, okay, I would like to find an internship in this company. Do you have any contacts over there? Could we maybe check my application letter together? Could we look at my CV? And then we have all kinds of trainings for that. We also organize, for example, specialized webinars in which we advise our students on special country habits when it comes to applying. And this is really important because each country has its own application rules and regulations, so to say. So when going to a German company, it might be slightly different than applying in the Netherlands, for example. And you'll also have an idea of what kind of jobs or job paths during your career you could do. And this is really something we will guide you with, and to give you a bit of idea of what we are talking about is that well, for some students or people, it's really interesting to land in a big corporate environment, and knowing what it is to work over there. We always advise students to first start with an internship. But to compare a working situation, for example, with working for a startup, it's totally a different situation, and it's totally different working life, so to say. So we also connect our students to our startups. And this is really interesting, as you will see immediately, like you will learn like how it is to work for a startup. It's obviously very challenging. You have to deal with a lot of uncertainties. Not so much is being arranged. There's constantly questions like, hey, what's the next step to take? But you will be part of this once you work in a startup. You will see everything, because it's like we're usually working in small teams. You can go to big events already. Where working at corporate companies, it's like a totally different thing, but it's also, of course, interesting. And from InnoEnergy perspectives, what we are encouraging our students and our alumni is to make a change in the energy sector. In order to, our biggest goal, of course, is to reach the energy transition, and that's what we all are aiming for. And how to do that? That's actually part of the Game Changing Impact program. So, like, hey, which role you could take in teams, and which role is your role actually to take, and how to make that change, and how to make things happen, and how to get things done, because that's also really depending on each situation where you will land. And we will give you the courses and the knowledge and the skills to do so. Then, what kind of jobs can you think of? You have, for example, Vattenfall, who is currently searching for international trainees, and they are a company which is currently in more countries, and so they are looking for international people who could look beyond their borders and work for the international trainee program. But also we have, like, for example, product engineering possibilities from First Solar, or thesis workers by an energy innovation power 2X, or Taylor. Taylor is actually one of our startups being started by one of our alumni. So this is also getting back to us then, because this is actually the network. So this is the strongest point of our network. People know each other, and people help each other, and also, like, hey, they teach each other, like, what are interesting companies, what are interesting opportunities. So knowing and getting there it's really important. So this is just a couple of samples of openings we currently have, and when you're part of our network or our community, it really helps to land or to find a career in the energy sector, of course. Then what the Career Centre is also offering is all the we actually also have the ISE, it's our Institute of Sustainable Energy, which is our online learning portal where our students and alumni, once they are graduated as well, they can still continue learning on our platform and get the latest knowledge, get the most the latest news from the universities we are working with, etc. And you will have free access to InnoEnergy online courses for lifelong experiences. And this will also, of course, is really important for the rest of your career, as one of the most mentioned skills which are required for the energy sector of the future is the skill to learn and to continue learning and to make sure that You will not only be able to learn by going to a full-time master program, but by doing it alongside your work. Because probably all the technology that's currently existing and being used will be changed in a couple of years or 5 to 10 years time. As people are, the current developments are going so fast, and that's what we hear from our from the companies and from our HR contacts in the companies. The ability to learn and to continue learning is really important, and this is something that's a skill where you should work on, and that it's easy to continue with that learning. Then I would like to give the floor to Nathan Ott. Nathan Ott is working for the InnoEnergy Career Centre. So actually he's from the GC Index, and we work together with the GC Index for the Career Centre's offering for our career services. And he is responsible for the Game Changing Impact Program, and he will tell you everything about it. Nathan, can I give the floor to you?
Yeah, thank you, Marloes. Hello, everybody. So yes, Nathan Ott, Chief Polisher here at the GC Index, and just going to give you a summary of a very extensive program. So we've got 5 minutes to try and condense a 2-year program or an 18-month program. This program has been created with a lot of thought. InnoEnergy come to us. They offer, from an academic university career perspective, some of the best education in the energy sector. As Marloes has articulated, a fantastic network of employers and other services. But they wanted to offer something more for their students and for their employers. And after extensive research with employers and students, and also listening to those organisations around the world, what they need, we've created the InnoEnergy Game Changing Impact Programme, which is underpinned by the GC Index. For more information about the GC Index, I won't be going through it too much today, but you can see it on our website, www.thegcindex.com. So what do we mean by game changing impact? Now, if we look at the next slide, what you will see, Marloes, if we can go to the next slide. Thank you. These are the fundamental principles of the GC Index. And the GC Index has been used by hundreds of organisations all around the world, and it's very significant why we call it the game-changing impact. It's not game-changer impact, and that's significant because we hear lots in the world about we need to have game changers, and that is actually a bit of a myth, and it's not very helpful. Yes, there are individuals that create original ideas. Yes, there are individuals that can think very, very differently and radically, and that is fantastic, and we term those the game changers. But in reality, and what is the fundamental principle of the GC Index, is that everybody has an impact to make. Whether you are a CEO of a Fortune global organization or a child in a developing country, you have an impact to make in this world. And so yes, there will be those individuals that create original ideas, but they mean nothing, absolutely nothing, unless we can make sense of them. An idea that is elegant and new and novel is fantastic, but it means nothing unless we actually do something about it, make it happen. It has to be the best that it can be. We have individuals that are fantastic at making these ideas and just continuously improving them. And then we all have to work together, because it may take a single individual to have a game-changing idea or a new idea, but it takes the whole organization, the whole team, to create a game-changing impact. And they are the fundamental principles, and this is what we show with this program. So if we look at the next slide, Marloes, what does this mean? What does it mean? Well, look, you've probably had a bunch of development before, and you've had a bunch of different programs before. So look, when we make people decisions, you know, we look at things like expertise. We know how to do this. You're going to get some of the best expertise and skills and academic focus from, you know, from your education with InnoEnergy, but we know how to measure this. We know this. We look at experience. Yeah, we need experience to make a people decision. Have they done it before? That's why we have internships. That's why we have all these wonderful things around to drive experience. And then you've probably taken in some time a test about personality, MBTI being the most common, but you've probably taken some kind of test that's told you a little bit about yourself, and that's great. Okay, but what it doesn't do, and the reason that we focus on why so many organizations around the world is that none of these three elements actually focus on impact. What am I actually going to do? So when I start my job on the first day, what impact am I going to make around here? And we make impact in very different ways. And this is what is additive to the InnoEnergy Masters program. Is the game-changing impact program will show you how you best make an organizational impact. So you're ready. When you either start your own business, you can as an entrepreneur, or work in a global organization. This is what we're preparing you for. So if we look at the next slide, it is extensive, the program. I mean, organizations pay a lot of money for their staff for this program. So again, extremely fortunate for InnoEnergy to deliver this service to their students. These are just some stats of individuals from the 2018 intake before they joined. So this is day one. We do a measure for every individual about, you know, where do you need most help in making an impact? So you'll all take this sort of 25 questions, which helps you to start framing the impact that you want to make. Okay, so these are some of the stats, and then what we do is we shape the coaching program both individually for you, so you can maximize your impact, and also collectively for your team. So it's measured from day one. We help you from day one. And if we just flick over to the next slide, you'll see how extensive the program is. Look, we've just lifted this off. You can get more details from InnoEnergy and the website. But up at the top is the coaching pathway. So every individual will take the GC index on before they start. So the GC index is a way of actually you understanding how you want to best make your impact. Okay, so you will take that. You'll also take something called an impact awareness test, which is a self-test. It just helps you frame where you need the most help or you want the most help. Okay, so and then you get your own student digital coaching file. You're then onboarded, okay, through an hour consultation with a specialist to help you really focus on what are the things you need to develop to maximize your impact to a future employer, in your studies, to a team. This is what we give you, and then you're assigned your coach. So we have over around 40 coaches on this program. They're all for either varied experience from industry experts, coaching experts. We have a number of ex-alumni which get involved with helping you find your career. So you've got your coach, and then you go through the program. The program itself is meant to design so it doesn't impact. You're going to be busy. Okay, when you do a master's, you're going to be busy. You're going to have lots of things to think about. So you have 8 30-minute laser coaching sessions, and then there are 6 webinars, coaching webinars that then focus on that. At the end of it, you'll take an evaluation, which will measure your progress, things still need to work on, things to celebrate, and then once you exit, you have this thing called an impact passport. So every student gets this impact passport for their own benefit to use. And we're looking for a job for framing job applications. It's a very useful data set. A very simple question: if you're an employer and you've got one student from InnoEnergy and a student from another university, and one of them understands their organizational impacts, they've been working on it for the last 18 months, which one is more attractive? Yeah, this is what we're trying to drive. We're trying to differentiate our students in the market, and doing what employers want. Employers want people that are going to make an impact. If we look at the next slide, Marloes, just very quickly, I mean, again, it's extensive, please. this is what we anchor on. We anchor on 5 core learning objectives for you guys, okay, around, and you can read them, you can see them there. Just to pick one, okay, let's pick creativity and innovation. You know, what we're not trying to do is say, go and be creative. That's not helpful, because not everybody can be creative or wants to be creative, has an inclination to be creative. And actually, to say to someone, go and be creative, is really quite hard for some people. That's not what this is about, okay? What we will do is show you how you impact the process of creativity and innovation. And that's very different, yeah? That's a much more sort of really empowering way of approaching, yeah? Because no, don't be creative. This is how you impact the process of creativity. And that's what we will show you through the program. Now, moving on, if we just move on slightly, please, Marloes, thank you for doing a great job with these slides. As Marloes mentions, you have the programs, you have those interventions, you have your coach, you work on it, you've got all this documentation to measure your progress. Every year we do the InnoEnergy Game Changing Impact Challenges, where you are put into teams based upon your GC Index profile, balanced teams around impact, and then you work with real challenges from real organizations. These are a selection of the organizations that partner with. They give you real challenges, and they work with you for 3 days, and then we have a little bit of a competition for the best one. But you're working with these organizations for the whole 3 days. But of course, you've got the whole of your European Utility Week to go and network and deliver. And we are right at the forefront of the Initiate agenda at European Utility Week. We have the main stage in the Initiate hub so you can showcase all of your wares. Here's just some of the examples. If you go onto things like LinkedIn, you'll see what happened this year. There's some examples. If we just sort of look and see the amount of students there and those that have made some fantastic connections. It's all about creating the virtuous circle of you understanding your impact to a future employer, the future employer wanting that impact, and then putting them all together. And that's what you're going to get through the Game Changing Impact Program. Okay. I can talk for a lot more, Marloes, but I think that should be enough. I'm probably out of time.
Thank you, Nathan. That's great. Yeah, we could talk a lot more about all our experiences and the things what happened last couple of years, but we do not have more time, and we will also showcase the video of the European Utility Week of last November in Vienna, and that's actually giving an idea of the network and of the event and of about the networking opportunities you will have once you join the event. So I think I leave it with this, and it would be good to continue with our next speaker. This is Marvin Killer. He's one of our students, and he's currently doing an internship at Tesla. We're also more of our InnoEnergy students currently working. So yeah, let's give the floor to Marvin.
Thanks, Marloes. So hi everyone, my name is Marvin. I hope you can all see my screen. If you could confirm that.
Yes, we can see your screen.
That's perfect. All right. So first, a very small introduction about myself. I am a present InnoEnergy student, exactly of the SENSE program, which is Smart Electrical Networks and Systems. I started this journey about 1.5 years ago, a bit longer, doing my first year in Stockholm at the KTH Royal Institute of Technology, and currently I am doing the second year here in the Netherlands. So I'm giving you this short presentation to give you an overview of what has been my experience with InnoEnergy and to kickstart my journey within the career, and specifically here at Tesla, where I'm working now. So first of all, I would like to show you a bit of my own background. So initially, I grew up in Spain, and I performed my studies there in energy engineering at the Technical University of Barcelona. And I did also work for some time as a research intern related to energy storage. So I had a quite good base and knowledge in the field that I was interested in, but I was always lacking a little bit of the international experience, which led me to decide to participate in the InnoEnergy program, which I don't regret a second until now. So after that, I started my first year, as mentioned before, in Stockholm, where I focused mainly on electric power engineering. And through the university there in Stockholm, I got involved in the organization of Engineers Without Borders Sweden. So I participated for the full time of the 9 months that I spent there in a project called Wind Power for Tanzania to power schools in Tanzania with small wind turbines. So I helped them design the turbines and how to realize the project. During my second year, I decided to go to Eindhoven. I want to highlight here that I was always a big fan of going back home to Spain because I really like Barcelona and living there. But the InnoEnergy experience and doing my first year abroad really showed me how amazing it can be to get to know all international people and make more connections. So I changed my opinion and I decided to do my second year in the Netherlands instead of going back to Spain. Finally, after this, I started off my career at Tesla, where I first did my internship for the past 6 months, and now I'm currently still a part-time worker, and the rest of my time is dedicated to my graduation project or master thesis, which I will hand in this summer. So now a bit of a summary on what I think or what has been my experience within InnoEnergy, and what I think are the key points that make me believe that this is really a very good program to participate in. First of all, a very international environment. In my specific program, we started off with 30 people from more than 20 different countries. Each of them is great in their own areas, what they do. We're all quite different profiles, but we're all mixed up together in the same master program. So it's an amazing opportunity to create a big network of people, which will help you for everything. It can be for possible jobs, to participate in the startup, to realize projects together, or if it's not any of that, it can also help you to do a knowledge exchange with different people. Next of that, what was very important for myself is the aspect of traveling. So InnoEnergy has helped me to really travel and discover a lot of countries around Europe. In my case, it stayed within Europe, but I have a lot of my friends who did have the chance to get out of here. So I think that's a very important point for many people to really experience different cultures and to explore different places. Next, I want to highlight the project realization. And I have this very good comparison to my old university, where I always had ideas or projects that I would have liked to work with, but it was always hard to make this initiative on starting something up, finding the good resources to do so, or to convince someone to support me. So in that sense, InnoEnergy really is very, very helpful, because they can support in terms of money, in terms of ideas, in terms of advising from different people. They provide you with a lot of industrial partners that are involved in many of the projects, and also worldwide opportunities. Many of my colleagues have ended up going to Africa, to Asia, to South America, working on real projects which were initiated by them and supported from InnoEnergy. In my specific case, during my last year in Stockholm, I was involved in an industrial project together with ABB, where I, together with some of my friends, developed a prototype of a wireless charging device for electric vehicles. So we had the support from InnoEnergy. They gave us some money, so we realized the project. And that's really great, because you can try to make your ideas happen in reality. Lastly, what was super important for me is career opportunities. So I think InnoEnergy really helps you a lot to broaden your options on the job market, because not only you get a great good education in terms of engineering and different schools across Europe, but what really makes a difference is the international experience, that you're exposed to a lot of different cultures and a lot of different people, which is very well valued, and especially in companies as myself now in Tesla, where I'm dealing with exactly the same thing on a daily basis. So it's very important to them to have profiles of people who have international experience, who have lived in different countries and faced a lot of different situations. And finally, I must say, it's not only always about the engineering part, but up to a large extent, having this bit of a business backup with the summer school has also made quite a big difference for myself when I started looking for opportunities. One second, my presentation is a bit stuck. All right. So now I want to introduce a bit how I kicked off with my start at Tesla. So during my second year here in the Netherlands at the University of Eindhoven, I had to do a mandatory internship. So during my summer before coming here, I was looking for different opportunities. So as was mentioned earlier, one of the big benefits of InnoEnergy is the networking and the community that you have. So one of the main reasons why I actually found the job here in the first place is because one of my friends who's at the same master program as me was formerly already a worker at Tesla. So through him, I got some inside contacts, and it didn't help me. It helped me to get into the company. I still had to go through the entire normal selection procedure, so I still had quite a tough time on that side. But it's definitely very helpful to know people who already work in different companies and have a link there, which is why the InnoEnergy platform, the community, is very helpful. So as mentioned earlier, I first did my internship during the last 6 months, and presently I'm also doing my graduation project here. So my role at Tesla is a sales engineer in the EMEA region. EMEA stands for Europe, Middle East, and Africa. So I'm a sales engineer for large-scale battery products. Maybe some of you are aware, so Tesla manufactures different products, first focused on electric vehicles, but then also PV panels, small-scale battery system, and large-scale energy storage. So my focus is really on these large batteries, and my team is responsible for all projects happening in these different regions. So I get to face a lot of different customers, a lot of different types of projects. And we're responsible to do the design, the simulations, the technical viability of projects, and also the economic viability to see if all these projects or opportunities do actually make sense or not. And lastly, I would like to give you a bit of a broader view on what kind of projects I'm involved with, or what you can use large-scale batteries for. We could divide it in these 4 main areas that I'm working with. So first of all, grid services, basically having a large battery system interacting with electric networks. A good example of that is, maybe some of you guys are aware of it, but Tesla has provided the largest energy storage system in the world based on lithium-ion technology in Australia about 2 years ago. And this is basically a large energy system as an energy producer interacting with the electric network. On the other hand, you also have large-scale renewables integration of PV plants or large wind farms. Then a lot of applications for commercial and industrial sites. And lastly, a lot of different completely off-grid microgrids, which usually a combination of photovoltaic PV panels, batteries, and diesel generators that set up an entire grid on very remote places like islands or remote spaces in Africa that don't have any energy supply at all. So I'm really focused in a very diverse area of different technologies and different kind of projects, and facing a lot of international people each day, speaking different languages, working with stakeholders and clients all over the world in this region. So coming back to that, it was really a big help to also have this experience previously from InnoEnergy to end up here. And I think I will finish my presentation here to not make it too long. So I hand over back to Marloes.
Okay, thank you very much for the interesting presentations. Shall we start with the Q&A section now? Or Marloes, probably you would like to add something to the presentations? Okay, let's start with the Q&A section now. We have quite a lot of questions, and we will start answering them one by one. First question is, how is InnoEnergy different from traditional engineering programs? I suppose, Marloes, you're going to answer those questions? We don't hear you. Probably you should unmute yourself. Okay, probably Nathan, you can answer this question. Probably there is some technical issue with Marloes at the moment.
Yeah, sure. So the question is, how do we differ from, how does InnoEnergy differ from any other technical engineering school? Is that the question?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think firstly, what is very different, and I'll let Marvin pick up on some of the experiences, but certainly from our perspective, what is very different is the community that you're joining. The education is of the highest quality as you would expect, but it's the community that Marloes sort of highlighted in her presentation, as well as the you see with Marvin, the way that he sort of looks at different business schools, different master schools to deliver his work. The game-changing impact challenge and program is hugely differentiating. It doesn't happen anywhere else at all. We have researched over 70, 80 organizations in the field and really worked out what do they want, and as well as students. And what we're seeing is that program and its focus on impact and making an impact in the world of work is hugely differentiated. As I say, if you were an employer and you had two students at the end of it, both technically and with the skills and all the great academics and engineering qualifications, but then one had been on an 18-month program developing their impact to that employer's organization, which one would you choose? Yeah. Marvin, do you have any
Yes.
views,
Yes,
please?
I
Because
could
from a
add
student
here as
perspective,
well.
I think it'd be better coming from you.
Yes, definitely. So first of all, I totally agree with what you said. So I think one of the biggest differences is really the big community that you're getting into, because you're not only in touch with the people of your own master program of one university, but you really get to know a lot of people from all over Europe, from different countries, and all participants, which are really from all over the world, which all together have this amazing spirit towards sustainability and their own ideas, and this big network makes quite a big difference to like a traditional engineering school, which is a good example for me when comparing that to my old engineering school where I was at. So where the opportunities were rather narrow in comparison with all what I've opened up now. And the second big step, what I would say, is because in energy, rather than only focusing on the technical part, and don't get me wrong, the technical part is very important, and you're still doing full double master's degree on the engineering side. But on top of that, you also get to know some knowledge on the business part, on how to create your own startup, on how all that side of a company works. And I think that this is a great value, and this is also one of the reasons why me, as well as many of my friends, got selected in many of their job opportunities where they applied to. I hope this will have helped to answer the question.
Great, so we will proceed with some admissions questions. We have from Andre. Hi there, I'm from Brazil and I would like to know how is the admissions policy for people outside Europe to join the master's courses? Probably Felicitas, you can answer this question. We can't hear you. Felicitas, do you hear us?
Hello, it's Marloes here. I'm back. I was not able to unmute myself. Maybe Felicitas has the same problem.
Well, I see she's unmuted, but anyway, we will proceed with the questions to Marloes. Okay, let's go with the first question that we received. How does the master program specifically teach you to apply business skills in the engineering role, and how important are soft skills in that field?
Well, I have to say, so we have 7 master programs, and each master program has its own way of doing that. So, for example, we have included a business school during summer for some of the master programs. The other one is having like a very detailed program on soft skills and creating a lot of self-awareness and self-confidence. So there's a lot of activities. So it's which are beyond the general master courses, like the university, what the university is offering themselves. And also maybe in case of sense, maybe Marvin, you can elaborate a bit on that. Like, what did you do? I think I've heard you saying doing the business school in Esada, I think, right? Is that what you did?
Yes, that's correct. So in my specific case, I had an intensive summer school for about a month in Esada, which is one of the most recognized business schools in Europe nowadays. So basically, it was a crash course to learn a bit about everything from the business side, especially focusing on entrepreneurship. And during this entire month, we had kind of a project where our objective was really to come up with a new business idea, to create our own startup. And we had to realize everything from zero to the final stage, going through all the different processes that are involved in doing a startup. So that really helps you to get insight on what is important or necessary, or what kind of skills you would also need in order to focus on that. And again, as I mentioned, the other side, the business is always very important for most companies. I will not say all, because there's always a case where you'd rather focus on pure research or get it going for a PhD. But in any other cases, for the big consultants, for any engineering company like myself now, or grid operators, whatever, the economic aspect is always important. It takes part of your engineering life. So in that sense, I think it's very good to have learned myself a bit more on the business side during my summer school in Barcelona.
Thanks, Marvin. Yeah, so we hear also back from companies and from HR managers working in companies that soft skills is even more important than the technical skills at the moment. And having this entrepreneurial attitude, plus knowing about the commercial side of a business, for example, like, you know, a bit about marketing, about economics, etc. It really helps. When you will start working in the energy sector. So we offer actually the master programs itself offer a lot around the master program on this topic. So, for example, the Master in Smart Cities, they have organized this innovation journey, which consists of like 4 weeks during the whole 2 years master program, working on your own topic, being guided during those 4 weeks on your innovation topics and on entrepreneurship. If you want to know much more in detail, I would advise you to go to to our website and read about all the specific courses which we offer on this case.
Okay, I will summarize a few questions that we have regarding the program. The program is carried mainly in the school campus? Do you travel a lot, or can you pass part of the program online?
So it's obligatory to do year 1 at a different university as year 2. So that's at least the minimum level of travel you have to do. But as Marvin was already explaining, there are so many opportunities also to go to other projects, and this is of course not something that's set in stone. It's what's happening during your time at the master school, for example. What's happening at the co-locations, what's happening in Europe. So constantly they're changing opportunities. We also organize, for example, every year the Master School Connect event, where all our students from all countries come together for 2 days, 1.5 day, more or less, connect with each other, connect with industry as well. And so certainly, travel is part of it. Meanwhile, also part of the program is well, that's really depending on what you're doing and what your choices have been during the master program. But there are some courses online as well. But I wouldn't say that it's possible to do like the whole year from a distance. So you have to go to the university. But that's really depending on the university as well, where you are studying. So as I said, we work together. So we have 7 master programs, and this could be done at 12 different universities. And the situation is really different on each university. And after the first year, you can choose again for your second year. And as Marvin was saying, he was intentionally thinking to go back to his home country, but he changed his mind and went to a second year abroad, so to say. And I think I really see this change happening to many of our students. They start thinking like, oh, this is an interesting chance to go for 1 year abroad, and then I go back. But in the end, they really have their they become a global citizen, I have to say. Like the opportunity is not just in their own country, it's in Europe or even globally.
Okay, we have another question. Do you organize presentations, speeches from entrepreneurs to investors?
From entrepreneurs to investors. Well, the InnoEnergy has a yearly event called the Business Booster, where all our startups are gathering together and presenting themselves. And we always invite all investors to come over. And we also present our education and our students over there. But this is mainly between all the innovation projects and startups we have to present them to the world, actually. And this year it will be organized in Paris in the beginning of October. The first week of October. I do not have the exact dates to be ready, but they can be found on our website. So yeah, for sure we organize this. And there are also more local opportunities to do this as well per country. This is our European event, the Business Booster. Hope this answers your question.
Okay, we have another question regarding the ideas, the entrepreneurs' ideas. How do you convey and appraise ideas when they go to discussion in groups? How do you find which idea is valuable for discussion in groups throughout the study?
Sorry, can you repeat it one more time?
Yeah, how do you convey ideas? When do valuable ideas go to discussion in groups? I believe Nathan also spoke about ideas, new ideas, and how they go to reality and to discussion in groups. So I think probably this question is to him.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, there's a number of ways to answer that question. So first, just going back to that skills question, as you've seen from one of the slides, there's a very big chunk of our program is developing skills around that creativity innovation. The example I gave was, well, if I'm not creative, The other is true if I'm extremely creative and lots of ideas. What we work on is the skills that help you effectively communicate those, the skills that help you bring ideas to reality, make sure you understand which people you need around you to help turn them into reality. So in terms of the skills, if that's the question, that is all focused within the program. I've constantly got good ideas. how do I stop them being killed in a group setting? How do I stop someone else, overrunning them and taking them on, without my permission or this going in the wrong direction. So we develop that. Then when we put our teams together, we do ensure that we have teams that are put together that aren't just about coming up with ideas. We want an openness to new ideas, but then construct the teams. If we have team events, particularly the Game Changing Impact Challenge, we also construct teams for the other programs, is around making sure that we can help bring ideas to reality, and everyone is recognized for that contribution. I think as someone said once, there are no prizes, just good ideas. You need other people around you to maximize those, to bring them to reality, and that's what we do. Yeah. Does that answer the question?
I think so. We'll ask the candidate, he can reply back, but we have a lot of questions coming up. Also, we have a question. Are there any specific skills that I should prepare before I apply to InnoEnergy's Master School? Because sometimes I'm scared it will be difficult if I don't have enough skills and knowledge to adapt. This is a question from Zolkifi.
Well, it's a difficult question. So, which skills should you prepare in order to apply for the program? Well, we do select like very strong profiles. However, we do not select on only one type of profile. So I would certainly say just present yourself in a very good and motivated way, and show how well, please show in your application how entrepreneurial or innovative you are or you have been during your, for example, your bachelor's. Can you give examples or etc. Those kind of things. That's something you have to think of, because we will certainly select those people who have filled in the application form in a very motivated way. And yeah, Nathan, maybe you can add something to that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Now, obviously, we're third year into the program. We're working with InnoEnergy, and you can see very clearly the difference between an InnoEnergy student and other students that that we work with, and it is that motivation piece. Now, for sure, what we're looking for InnoEnergy is very, very strong academics, right? So back to the previous question, we see the good academics as a table stakes. Yeah, we expect that, as you would expect. But we're not looking for the finished article to join InnoEnergy. Yeah, we want to help develop everybody that comes onto the program, and everybody comes at a different starting point. So it is very much what Marloes mentioned, is that motivation, enthusiasm, embracing everything what InnoEnergy has to offer. And fundamentally want to make a sustainable change to the world of energy and the energy sector. If we've got those raw ingredients, then we're much more likely to make you extremely successful.
Exactly, that's very good to add. Absolutely, thank you, Nathan. I think that answers the question.
Thanks, and now we go on with some questions regarding the opportunities and guidance that the program provides to a good research idea to start a company. And we have 3 people asking for different sectors: mechanical engineering, also terminal storage systems, and harness solar energy effectiveness.
So first question, if I understood well, was what support do we give in order to start your own startup? Is that right?
Yeah, to research a good idea and to start your own startup.
Research a good idea. Okay. Yeah. So well, I would say so many things are happening during those 2 years that could deliver you a very good idea, because you do a lot of group work, part of the courses on universities will be around projects. You will work a lot on real life challenges from companies. And then the Game Changing Impact Program delivers you a personal career coach, which you could also elaborate a bit on your idea. But yeah, in the end, of course, it should be your idea. And then once you have the idea, then we have a possibility in the so-called sidewalk program to help you prepare for starting your own company. And as I mentioned, InnoEnergy has 3 business lines. So one of them is education, and our students, etc. They are being matched to our business creation business line. It's in this business line, of course, we support startups. So in order to go from being a student into being one of our startups, we offer you there some kind of support you can get. But this is really at the moment part of the sidewalk program, and it's quite tailor-made. So I cannot say in detail like, hey, this is the way it looks like. But certainly InnoEnergy is helping you with that. But for sure, you also you have to go around to get the best idea, and then make a business plan, and going to, for example, this business course or whatever really helps you to know how to create and how to write a business plan. And once you have a good business plan, then we will guide you into the next step. Then the second question was more about different sectors. Donka, can you say a bit about that?
Yes, I'm sorry, they were for mechanical engineering. I'm just trying to go back to the questions. Mechanical engineering, also terminal storage systems and harnessing solar energy effectiveness.
Yeah, exactly. What do you want to know about that?
How they can research ideas in these sectors so they can start their own companies. These are basically the questions. Do you have some specific, I suppose, expertise in researching ideas in some specific sectors like theirs?
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. I mean, the network and the knowledge we have is very broad. So it also includes this. There's not a standard answer to be given to this question, to be honest. So this should be looked at like case by case, I would say. Like what exactly is the question, and what exactly is in the end the startup you want to raise, etc. It's a bit difficult to answer in detail, like exactly what are the contexts we have in this specific sector.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that after the webinar, you will receive all the questions from candidates, and you can later on answer those who were not answered during the webinar. So this may be a great chance as well. I'm sorry, Nathan, I think I interrupted you.
No, it was actually me. I just wanted to piece more on the answer to both questions. So first of all, on the help or how to develop your idea for a startup, I can give the example of some of my friends or colleagues who took the chance of using the opportunity of developing the projects at the universities on academic projects together with, or possibly master thesis, or even on the business school in summer, to use that to actually start developing their ideas for a startup. So that way helped them a lot to get feedback from professors from different companies or people involved in the business development part. And many of them do now still focus on, some of them successfully created their startups. So I think it's a very good chance, if you already have an idea or at least a direction of what you want to go to use the opportunity of the master's school and really develop your projects at the university as well. because you don't have usually any limitations, and you often have projects or open projects during those 2 years where you can really decide upon what you want to work on. And on the second part, on the different topics, I think a very good thing to do is simply to connect with different people, because everyone is from very different backgrounds. In my master, which is purely focused on electrical engineering, we have people from material science, from mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and energy, which all have a grasp, of course, of the electrical part, but the knowledge is really diverse. So it helps a lot to simply propose your ideas, discuss it, or think about something together. And if everyone puts a little piece of what they think of it, it can really help a lot to decide and to get more knowledge about a specific topic, as you want to suggest.
Well, Marvin, there is another question regarding the community. How do you keep up with other graduates? How do you keep in touch after finishing studies?
So how we keep in touch? Well, I'm still currently a student, so maybe that does not apply perfectly. So basically there are two main ways, well, let's say 3 ways how you can get personally in touch with them, based on the fact that you know most of the people and you've been involved with them. So really, I've made a lot of friends through my master's program, and not specifically through my own, but through all 7 master programs. The second base is then on LinkedIn. You would always get in touch and you can see what other people are doing, what businesses they're entering. And lastly, there's also a community platform from InnoEnergy and the events organized by InnoEnergy on a yearly basis, where even after graduating, you can come together and meet your old classmates or other people and really keep in touch with all of them.
Okay, thank you. Felicitas, can we hear you? There are some questions regarding the admissions process.
Hello? So you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. There are a lot of questions regarding the admission process. Are there some specific dates that they have to apply? Probably you should answer one by one. First question is, are there some dates and deadlines that candidates should follow?
Yes, so we have 3 application rounds. So currently round 2 is open. So deadline for round 2 is 25th of February. And the deadline for submitting your English proficiency test is 22nd of April. So this is if you want to start for the winter term. And otherwise it will be the start for next year, and then applications will be open from, let's say, November or December onwards. Hello?
The other question is, do you require some additional tests like GMAT, jury, in order to apply to your program?
So when we are just checking the eligibility, formal eligibility criteria, so most important is that you have a completed bachelor's degree, and you fulfill our English proficiency. And if you do something else, this is just additional documents. But what is important for us is the completed bachelor's degree and the English requirements. But all the details about that can be found on our website.
We have a question from Maria. What do you value most in the application process? What quality or some part of the application that you value most? Is there such a part?
So there are 2 parts of the process. So the admissions office checks the general eligibility criteria. So that means we check if this bachelor's degree, it is possible to do a master in one of these participating universities. So most important is the content of the bachelor's degree. So where you did the bachelor, it's not so important, but what courses you took. So that means, of course, you have to have a technical or engineering background. And for some programs, it's important to have, for example, a motivational video or some motivational letter. But all the rest, this is like more additional documents you can add for the application. But like the academic background is really important. So academic background and also your motivation. So this is what we check here. And the second step is the ranking and the content checked and evaluated by the program committee.
We have few questions regarding the scholarships as well. Some people have applied for scholarship and they asked some specific questions, but you will go back to them after the webinar. But there are questions how we can apply for scholarships, and also do you have scholarships from non-EU candidates?
So there are scholarships for people from all over the world. The scholarship, it is important that you submit a scholarship video. So the scholarship selection is done together with the general ranking by the programs. But as there are quite a lot of applicants, and also if you are a good and eligible candidate, it's not possible that everyone gets a scholarship who is an eligible candidate. So if you check our website, you will also find some sort of cooperations, where we have cooperations with national scholarship agencies, so you can also find other ways of funding, for example. Yes.
Well, thank you. We have a question for Marloes. Do you have career opportunities in countries outside EU? We have a candidate asking this question after graduation.
Yeah, we sometimes do, and we are actually approaching more and more also outside Europe. But the main chunk of all the offerings are within Europe, to be honest. But it's also outside, yeah.
Well, thank you. And there is a question regarding the statistics for a typical master's class from the last intake, for instance, in terms of countries and male, female. Do you have such statistics to share with us?
Who shall answer?
I believe Felicity shall answer this question.
So the question was about if there are statistics.
Yeah, background of a typical class, probably from the last year class.
Yeah, I think there are statistics. So I know that we have some internal statistics, and so what we can say, there are people like from all over the world, but I think you can just check on our website. We have some information where like people are from, but this is something. Yeah, if this is a specific question, we can also answer it later on, perhaps.
Yeah, you will receive all the questions, and as the time is running, there are a lot of questions, and most of the questions are pretty specific. I believe the best way is to send them to you, and you will contact specific candidates and answer them directly. I would like to thank all of you for participation. Now we are going to play a video which is extremely interesting, and I hope you stay with us. But before that, I would like to thank our wonderful presenters for the interesting presentations and for taking the time to answer all your questions. And of course, to you all candidates that appeared today and asked your questions, thank you very much on behalf of Prep Advisor. And now we play the video and wish you a wonderful day and good luck with your admissions.
Welcome to European Utility Week, and more importantly, welcome to the game-changing Impact Challenges hosted by InnoEnergy.
The Game-Changing Impact Challenges, which we organize here at Utility Week, is part of a Game-Changing Impact program, which our students enter directly when they enter their master program or their PhD school.
We have 100 students here at the challenges. We have 4 challenges. So there are about 20 teams. Each team consists of about 5 students. And the way we've designed the teams is based on proclivity.
GC Index is a tool that shows how everybody can contribute to a game-changing impact.
The challenge that we have shared with the group of students and that we're working on together is the role that hydrogen can play in the future energy system.
We collect new data from smart metering. How can we create value from this data?
Flexibility is this big opportunity. Why isn't it happening today?
Use a blockchain to transact between buildings.
I'm ready for the challenge.
The real-world business problems are being presented to us.
The competition creates like a platform for you as a student to also showcase what you know and what you can do.
It's a wonderful activity for any company in the energy field to be a part of this Initiate activity, just to feed off of the excitement and innovation you can feel from all of these students and teams.
We live in an energy world that's changing very rapidly, so you need new perspectives. You need people who understand what will be the system implications of all of this.
5 minutes, start now.
The level of the presentations was really impressive. I was surprised, impressed, inspired even in some cases.
The inspiration from these students, we take it back with us to the company and trying to spread that same inspiration within the company.
We are from different backgrounds and it's an amazing experience to meet with multicultural people.
I want to emphasize that it's great to see all the other people and all the opinions on the future energy supply.
You really get a holistic understanding of the energy sector.
Helps us to find which kind of companies are having the same vision than we do.
Actually, this could be the kick-off of a career in the industry.